Morning, how are you doing? It's Tuesday. Are you going to have the best day of your life? What is happening? And you might be thinking, what? It's Tuesday morning. How can it be the best day of your life? But it's that intention, right? Set an intention that it's going to be a good day for you. Whatever's going on in the background in your life, set an intention that it's going to be a good day for you. And we're going to discuss food and female hormones. So I felt pulled to discuss this morning. I know I've done my post on it, but yeah, I felt like a draw to talking about this today. So here we are going to do exactly that. And I'm going to share some of my own experiences around food and female hormones, things I'm doing, and the difference it's made to my female health. Because I certainly grew up being told, kind of get on with it. That's the way, that's how it's meant to be. And certainly when I've trained with male PTs, I've been told it's just Mother Nature, get on with it. So I want to share with you how food and hormones kind of go hand in hand. But we know, right, everything we eat affects our mood, our energy. So it makes sense that it affects our hormones too, and how that shows up on a month to month basis. So it's a big, detailed topic, but I want to give you some high levels in terms of what does that show up as? How can you tell? What does that mean for you? What does it look like? And what are the things you can start investigating in yourself? So, what are the things that are going to make the difference to you? So, if you're on the StreamYard Live, drop me a hey, yeah. Just in the Facebook group, let me know that you're here. Let me know I'm here. Same on Instagram, give me a little wave. Don't be shy. And if you're joining on the replay, maybe on YouTube, maybe in the Healthy Well Women group, do a hashtag replay and let me know you're joining. All right, let's get into it. So, female health, as I touched on there, you might experience monthly cramps, you might experience a lack of sleep on the run up, you might experience some dehydration, and even saying these things, you might be like, oh my God, is that what that is? And I know we get educated at school about the monthly cycle, but in terms of you're going to bleed, and here's the things to pop in you to stop the bleeding coming out. Let's face it, that's about as much as you get, and about falling pregnant. And the rest of it around the cramps, the heavy bleeding, the lack of sleep, the headaches, all that fun stuff is kind of just left. And you normally get to the point where you're in absolute agony and you find yourself sitting in front of the GP saying, I feel sick with pain. I can't get on with my day. I'm absolutely cramping. And they go, here's the pill. And that starts from a young age, right? And the problem with that is it means our menstrual cycle never actually matures because we get popped on these artificial hormones so that it never matures. Yes, it might help with some of the issues, but when you come off the pill for whatever reason, if you're like myself, we had migraines and migraines were getting worse, and now we're like, oh, you shouldn't be on this because actually you're at risk of stroke. What? So things like that. So then you end up coming off the pill, and then you can end up experiencing all those symptoms that you had as a teenager because actually your period didn't mature. So what really that means is we don't get into a natural flow, a natural cycle, and we don't ever tune into what's working for our bodies and what's not, and why the symptoms we have on a monthly basis. Like, what is the root cause of those symptoms? We kind of blame it on the hormones and the monthly cycle and the bullshit rule of that's how it is on a monthly basis. But actually, it doesn't need to be that way. And it's actually a real insight into our health. So, what do I mean by that? So, as I mentioned in my post today, track your cycle, track it. So when are you due your period? What are the symptoms leading up to it? Now, if you're on some hormonal contraceptives, that means you don't know when it is, then that'll be trickier for you, but you might feel some changes within your body. And remember, a pill bleed is not a real bleed. The pill bleed is essentially to kind of show, I'm not pregnant. So it's not actually a real bleed, hence why your cycle doesn't mature if you're on the pill. So ultimately, think about when are you due? What are the symptoms you experience on the run up to it? So where do you feel it in the body? Do you start to feel kind of a bit of tightness around the hips? Do you get a bit of lower back pain, fatigue? As I mentioned about being dehydrated, like drinking water and more water and feeling like I can't even get enough in. What is it you experience on the run up to your period? The day of your period, so the first 12 to 24 hours. So is that like really bad cramping? You're on the kind of painkillers to try and help ease that. Is your bleed heavy? Is it light? How long does it last for? So what are all the symptoms on the run up that you can feel it happening in the body, and the symptoms the days of your period, and what does that feel like for you? Because if you find that it's taken out a week of your life, and I know I've worked with some clients where literally the week of the period on the run up, they're pretty much bedridden. Yes, they're fortunate they can work from home, but it's not a way of life. If you're losing a week every month to your period, that is not normal. And I know people talk about polycystic ovary syndrome, getting treatments for that, and that might well be the case. But there are things that you can do yourself and test this and test and see if this helps. So I mentioned about food. So number one, I want you to track your period. So track when you're due, what's the symptoms before it, what's the symptoms during it in terms of cramping, bleeding, energy, all that good stuff. Then number two, I want you to look at reducing sugar in your diet. So can you reduce your sugar in the diet? So I'm talking about the fizzy drinks, the chocolate. And if you're like, yeah, but I have the zero drinks that have got artificial sweeteners in them. Artificial sweeteners have the same impact. Yes, it might not have the same calorie content, but they have the same impact on the body. And there's evidence starting to come out around the impact on gut health. And actually, if you're one for caring about gut health and you're really into finding more about gut health, artificial sweeteners are deemed not positive on your gut health. So really look at reducing these low calorie drinks. So look out for artificial, where it says sugar with sweeteners. Try and avoid these products. Now, these not just in drinks, it can be in things like chocolate bars, protein bars, where they're looking to reduce the calories. So really watch out for the sugar with sweeteners and look at reducing those products. I myself are doing that. I'm kind of weaning myself off Coca-Cola, off fizzy drinks. I always say to clients, go for full sugar, because at least you know what full sugar is processed in your body. Whereas with a lot of these artificial sweeteners, the evidence isn't there that they're bad, but the evidence isn't there that they're positive either. So you're kind of being a bit of a guinea pig at the moment around those. So try and reduce the sugar. Okay. The second one I want you to focus on is fiber. Get more fiber in your diet. Things like your chia seed, your flaxseed, sprinkling it on your porridge, getting it into the salads, or in sauces, whatever it is that you're eating. Try and get a bit more fiber in through those seeds, but also through eating, your leafy green veg. You know the deal, getting the veg in there. And that's going to help with your bowel movements, help feed the healthy gut bacteria, and help your hormones too. So think about getting more fiber into your diet too. So we talked about cutting out the sugar. And with sugar also, I might add alcohol. So obviously alcohol is a form of sugar. And as females, we really need to accept alcohol doesn't work for us. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't work for anybody. Let's be completely honest. And I know for some people, cutting out is a real struggle, but at least look at reducing it, because it is another sugar source. So if you think about reducing the sugar we're having for the artificial sugars, for the soft drinks, the zero drinks, through the protein bars that we may be having, the things that are eat me healthy because I'm great for you. Look at reducing artificial sugar, artificial sweeteners, the sugar through alcohol too. And we're also going to look at increasing the fiber. Increasing our fiber really helps with food cravings. So often on the run up to your period, you might be like, oh, I can't get enough. Or you might find actually, no, I'm not fussed about food before my period. It's afterwards, I'm so hungry. And obviously the body takes more energy during that time. So if you're starving after or before, think about getting more fiber, because one, it's going to help your hormones, fuel your hormones in a positive way, but it's also going to help the hunger cravings. So look how you can get more fiber into your body to fuel you for longer, and it's also going to help with those bowel movements, right? So that's 3 things for you. That's track your symptoms, reduce your sugar, and that includes alcohol. Try and eliminate it if you can to do a true test period, and increase your fiber. Now, in terms of what period does that look like over? Well, obviously you have your period every month, so you can track it every month and what your symptoms are. But in terms of making those changes and the impact, then you're really looking at a 3-month period. Now, the reason we're looking at a 3-month period is because when we have our period, it's confusing, right? 3-month time period and our menstrual cycle. Right, so when we have our menstrual cycle, it is our oldest egg that's released. Therefore, that egg is roughly 3 months old. So whatever was happening in your life 3 months ago is having a direct impact on your period symptoms this month. So if you were maybe celebrating a lot, so you had more alcohol than normal 3 months ago, then you might find your cramps are a bit worse. If it's a case of, let's say you're super stressed, and so as a reason you're drinking more alcohol, that stress in your body's made your body all tight. It's going to impact your estrogen. You might find this month your breasts are a bit more sore than normal. You might find your legs are really hurting, you're really fatigued, the cramps are super sore. So whatever happened, sorry, I'm losing my voice. Whatever happened 3 months ago is going to impact your period this month. Okay, and you might be thinking, oh my God, I cannot remember what I was doing 3 months ago. But you will remember if you had celebrations. You will remember if you're a bit super stressed at work. You will remember, oh, actually, I was eating out a lot that month, or I didn't have as much color in my food. I kind of went a bit off piste and I was eating loads of beige food. Okay, so think about that. What we have now is going to fuel our future periods. Okay, so that is my 3 tips for you in terms of looking at stripping some of those things out, tracking what impact that has. Now, the other thing I would always recommend, so a little bonus for you, you know, I always like to give you extra value, is really with those symptoms, invest in Lara Brydon's book. So for healthy periods, she's got a book for 30 and under, and then she's also got a book for female hormones 40 plus. So kind of under 40, over 40 are her 2 books. And it's Lara Brydon, so LARABRIDEN. So look up Lara's website, look up Lara's books, and buy one of those books. That is my bonus advice to you, because within Lara's book, she will have all the different symptoms that she's worked with clients over her many, many years of practice, and she'll give you tips on things you can try around vitamin supplementation, and she'll give you questions to help you have conversations with doctors, because she recognizes that the doctors, the GPs, aren't experts in this. So those 3 things I mentioned at the start around reducing the sugar and the alcohol, getting the fiber in, tracking your symptoms are all going to help with you having healthy conversations with GPs should you need to go down that route. But within Lara's book, she also helps you with that, but she also suggests some supplements that you can try yourself at home to help with things like cramping, to help with any nutrient deficiencies you may have that they're not necessarily going to test for at the GP. There are things in there that you don't want to try on your own, like I'd never mess around with the thyroid piece. Go to your doctor around that piece, but there are helpful tips on how you can do things that will help your hormone health. But number 1 is tracking it yourself, so you know what's happening in your own body, you know your symptoms, you're informing yourself with knowledge. And then by switching out, by trying to get low sugar, not having the low sugar, weaning yourself off these products and the artificial sugars, how that feels different in your body for the next 2-3 months, and then looking to get more fiber in to feed your hormones, feed the hunger cravings, and give your nutritious body. All right, so it's thinking about those 3 things, and then a bonus is Lara's book to really look at, actually, if you're still experiencing a week of cramps and it's taken over your life, then how can you go and have an informed conversation with your GP? Or if you're still experiencing certain symptoms, and Lara has suggestions in there around supplements and what to look for and things to try that may help those cramps as well. So it's really about you becoming a practitioner in your own body, a practitioner in your own female health, and tune into what's working for you and what's not. And remember, your egg is 3 months old, and that's why we always say it always takes 90 days for any changes to kick in. And you might be wanting a quick, fast approach to your symptoms. And if you are, absolutely go to the GP. Anything that's not normal, you know, some spotting, bleeding in between your period, go to the GP and get it checked out, so in case it's something else. If you're getting tested for PCOS, then again, refer to Lara's book, because she'll tell you all about the pitfalls of those tests and what to look out for, and make sure you have informed conversations. So ultimately, this is about getting knowledgeable in our own body and our own female health, because you know I always say that we have to be responsible for our own health. So get knowledgeable about your female health, your own female cycles, try a few things to help with your monthly symptoms, and then look at what else you can do on top of that. And again, if you're experiencing any symptoms in between which isn't your normal cycle, then pop to your GP and see about it. All right, I will be helping with more of this, and I will be coming on to share more about your monthly cycle in terms of how we feel, our mood, our energy, understanding that, and how it goes with our winter, our summer, our autumn, or spring, and tapping into that so that you can really use your hormone cycle on a monthly basis to empower you rather than holding you back and losing time. Hope that's of use. Let me know any questions. Drop me a note, DM me. You know I'm always in the DM with you guys. So drop me a note, let me know. But I hope that helps. And just remember, everything we eat, we drink, it fuels our hormones, it fuels our gut health, fuels how we feel in our body and mind. So it's definitely a positive way to get healthier within ourselves and really be practitioners in our own health. Take care. Have an epic Tuesday.